I'm Connor Old, and welcome back to another episode of Old's Oscar Countdown. And this week we are going to be breaking down the Best Actress category, predicting who I think will get nominated, as well as a couple of possible contenders, and doing a deep dive on every single one, giving you my thoughts, my reasoning, some of the stats to back it up, and my experience doing this now for 8 full years. We are in the 9th season of Old's Oscar Countdown, and this is our traditional format, so if you haven't joined us before, welcome. What we do is each and every single week break down a different Oscar category. Then once we get further on into the season, there are going to be some episodes where we're going to be predicting the Golden Globes or the Critics' Choice Awards, or kind of staying up to date with all the different amazing precursors. But I am proud to say that we are one of the only channels that have been going on for this long that have also done this much of a deep dive into even some of the smaller categories like visual effects, like international film, like editing. All those videos will be coming out, doing the kind of heavy hitters up at the top, but these ones are just as fun as some of the other ones. And I think this year's Best Actress category is very competitive. I don't think there's a clear winner. As a matter of fact, I'm really confident that 2 of the actresses that I have in this video will get nominated. I think it's a very exciting, volatile race that we don't always have in this category, but we definitely do this week. So if you appreciate these videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. As we get along into the season, there are going to be other bonus episodes, which is why I recommend you subscribing so you don't miss those videos. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know what are your Best Actress predictions. Let me know if you think I'm wrong about anything. I'd love to create an awesome film-loving community that loves the Oscars and can kind of go back and forth in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's jump into things, starting off with my first prediction, and that is going to be Mikey Madison for Anora. As I mentioned on last week's episode, I have seen this movie, and I think once people have seen this movie, they'll kind of understand the weight and gravity of this performance. It is an all-encompassing performance within the film. I think, very simply, Anora is the frontrunner to win Best Picture right now. And if you like Anora, well, you like the actress playing Anora, in this case, Mikey Madison. I have seen some criticism that she is a little bit more of a passive character in the second half of the movie, and while that is a little bit true, I do think she still has her moments, particularly at the very end of the movie. But the first half, it is really just her and kind of her movie star charisma, and it's she really does a lot. The range of acting within this movie, I think, will be appreciated by Academy voters, in the sense that she's very funny and can do the comedy, but also the serious kind of dramatic moments as well. She can be that kind of personality when she's at the club, but then a little bit more reserved when she's not. So very simply, if you think Anora is going to get nominated for Best Picture, then I think Mikey Madison has to get nominated for Best Actress. And then I have her in the lead just because I do believe in Anora as a serious Best Picture contender for the win. And I also think that we haven't had an ingenue in a little bit. And the Best Actress category in particular loves the ingenue, where, if you don't know, that's the kind of younger actress that a lot of the Academy doesn't know about, but is beautiful and exciting and new, and oftentimes, because they kind of come out to the scene and are really impressive, the Academy kind of wants to crown the next great actress there by giving them an Oscar. So think of Emma Stone for La La Land, or Brie Larson for Room. In the past few years, we've been getting a little bit more older actresses, legacy type awards, which you usually see on the Best Actor side. So this may be a return to form for the kind of ingenue, where I don't think a lot of people recognize Mikey Madison. Has been, in some supporting roles in some other great movies, but this is her first major movie where she's the lead and is a big movie. So I think people will be charmed by her and really impressed by her performance. Then my second prediction, I'm going to go with Karla Sofía Gascón for Emilia Pérez. This has a similar logic to Anora, where I've seen this movie, very crowd-pleasing, very engaging, and Karla Sofía Gascón plays Emilia Pérez. So if you like Emilia Pérez, you will like the actress playing Emilia Pérez. I have her in my second slot just because I do have some concerns over whether or not she could realistically win, just because this is very much an ensemble movie. There are stretches of the film where Zoe Saldana, for example, is the lead of the movie, so she's not always forefront and center in the same way Mikey Madison is, let's say, in Anora. But I am confident that this will get nominated. because I believe in Emilia Pérez being the really sole Netflix movie this year that they're really pushing for something like Best Picture and Best Director. They're very good at campaigning. This is their kind of big movie of the year. It's also a movie that if you do like it, you like the acting. A lot of the appeal of the movie is its creativity, directing-wise, yes, but the kind of humorous and heartfelt moments from the cast. And Emilia Pérez and Karla really does have the most emotional moments of the film. So she has some of the funnier moments. She has the very heartfelt moments. I think you'll really fall in love with her character and what Karla is able to do as an actress. And then also the Academy loves transformations because it allows people to show their range. And quite literally in this movie, Karla plays a man, a Mexican drug lord who transitions to being a woman, and the kind of range and the ability that she's able to play both sides. Also a tortured character in that way, which allows Karla to really dive into the character in interesting ways where she transitioned to a woman, but she still has, those sins that she created when she was that drug lord, and how she's kind of wrestling with those thoughts and trying to redeem herself, but can she ever? There's a lot of kind of the thematic concerns of the movie are with her character, but ultimately I think you have one of the characters in a well-liked movie with a great performance that, is able to play a man and then a woman. And then also you have just a lot of the humorous and the heartfelt moments all come from her character. So very simply, similar with Mikey, Madison, and Anora, Sofía Gascón plays Emilia Pérez. I think people are going to like Emilia Pérez. They've already started to like it, playing at festivals and whatnot, and she's been the standout for many people. Then in my third slot, I went with Angelina Jolie for Maria. This is the first of my nominations that I'm not super confident in. I could definitely see the Angelina Jolie not getting nominated. That being said, let me argue why I did include it and why I did include it in my number 3 spot. And that's because when you're trying to predict the Oscars, sometimes it helps to forecast other award shows and to look into the future. Because when I'm talking about my Best Actress predictions in January, before the Oscar nominations come out, I'm going to say, okay, I'm predicting Mikey Madison because she got in at Critics' Choice, Golden Globes, BAFTA, SAG. So sometimes when we're still haven't gotten those results, if you sort of forecast and see, well, if she's going to get this and she's going to get that, then she'll probably get the Oscar. Sometimes that will help you understand who will get nominated early on in the season and kind of avoid that immediate post-fall festival hype. So I look at some of those precursors, and first I go Critics' Choice Awards. That's a larger group. So when you have a larger group, movies that are easily accessible oftentimes get nominated, which is why Netflix movies usually do pretty well at Critics' Choice Awards. They also are the earliest on in the season, so the movies that kind of get some good buzz, let's say out of festivals, will get nominated here. Maria fits into that category, being distributed by Netflix, being a big fall festival premiere. Then you look at a group like SAG. Well, we know SAG loves Netflix. They'll nominate Adam Sandler for Hustle. So we know that a lot of the SAG members have Netflix, watch Netflix, appreciate those movies, don't have a stigma against them. So we think that if Netflix really does push this as one of their fall kind of acting favorites, that there's a chance it will get nominated. Let's not forget that SAG was the first awards group to nominate Ana de Armas in Blonde. I think a similar situation is going to happen here, where SAG really doesn't care necessarily about the quality of the movie, very much just are interested in the performance. And you have a similar situation here with Angelina Jolie, a famous person playing another famous person, and in a biopic, a kind of music biopic. Yes, it had a bit of a mixed critical reception, but if it didn't hurt Blonde, I don't think it would hurt this movie, for example. And then we don't need to mention it, but I think Angelina Jolie will definitely get nominated at the Golden Globes. She may even win at the Golden Globes, and if she does, and if she gives a great speech, well, that will only further help her chances. So you have a potential Golden Globes win. I think Critics' Choice is likely. I think Screen Actors Guild is likely. Next thing you know, that kind of signals to the Academy voters that this is a serious performance, that this is a well-liked performance that they have to check out. And if they do check it out, I think they'll be likely to enjoy it. And it's also, I think, helpful to mention that this is the third film in Pablo Larraín's kind of tortured famous woman trilogy. His first one being Jackie, his second one being Spencer, and both the lead actresses in those movies, Natalie Portman and Kristen Stewart, were both nominated at the Oscars. Even something like Kristen Stewart, who wasn't nominated anywhere else, she still got nominated at the Oscars. So the Academy of all groups have appreciated this kind of Pablo Larraín tortured women trilogy. So I expect them to continue and nominate Angelina Jolie here for Maria. Then in my fourth slot, I'm going to go with Nicole Kidman for Babygirl. And I'm doing this because I believe the Academy really loves Nicole Kidman as an actress, and because she has a fall film festival movie that will get seen by Academy member voters. When we think about actors that are well liked by the Academy, some common names are Saoirse Ronan or Amy Adams. But if you actually look into the types of nominations that they're getting, someone like a Saoirse Ronan, every single nomination she has gotten, her movie was nominated for Best Picture. So do they like Saoirse Ronan? Yes, I believe so. But only really when their movie is also well liked by the Academy. So they like Saoirse Ronan, yes, but then I think there's another category, a category that Nicole Kidman's in, where they're going to nominate you even if your movie isn't nominated for Best Picture, maybe even if it's the sole nomination. So you have with Nicole Kidman movies like Rabbit Hole or Being the Ricardos. These are not Best Picture movies, but Nicole Kidman still gets nominated because they love Nicole so much and appreciate her work. So I think that's a benefit to Nicole in particular, just as an example of how much they really do love her. So you have a movie that premiered at the Fall Film Festival, so we know that it's probably likely to be seen. We know that it has a powerhouse performance by Nicole Kidman, so we know that the chances of Academy members are seeing it is high. It's also being released in Christmas, so it will be top of mind awareness come Oscar voting in January. And we also have an actress who we know is well liked and will get nominated for movies, even though the film doesn't get nominated for Best Picture. That's the kind of calculations I'm doing, why I have Nicole Kidman in here for Babygirl, because it is a tremendous, very physical, very engaging performance, because we know they like her, and we know they're willing to nominate her for movies that are not nominated for Best Picture, because that's my only real concern. Are people going to see Babygirl? Is it maybe too edgy for the Oscars? For me, based on seeing the movie, I don't think it will be. I think it is a little bit out there, but the newer Academy will be more likely to appreciate it. If they're going to appreciate Anora, they can appreciate this movie. They like Nicole Kidman. She won the Best Actress prize at Venice. 3 out of the last 5 Best Actress winners at Venice got nominated at the Oscars. That's another good sign. And then when we look ahead to some of the other precursors, well, the Golden Globes love Nicole. Screen Actors Guild maybe love Nicole Kidman even more. They nominate her all the time on the TV side, but even in movies, they'll nominate her for Bombshell, and the Globes nominated her for Destroyer. The Paperboy, she was nominated. These are movies that she got nominated at the Golden Globes and Critics' Choice Awards and SAG, but wasn't nominated for at the Oscars. So we know that she'll have the precursor love. The question then becomes, will she have the Academy love? I think so, because of the content of the movie, because of its fall release, because of the prestige she got from the Fall Film Festivals, and because she's a unique actress in which she will get nominated multiple times, even though her movie really isn't a Best Picture contender or in the race, because people will seek out her performance. So when Nicole Kidman gives an amazing, great performance like she does here in Babygirl, the Academy pays attention. I think they're going to pay attention this year and give her a nomination. Then in my fifth slot, my final slot, I went with Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. This is a movie I just saw recently, and I have a very similar opinion, I think, to a lot of people, in that the movie was pretty good, but the performance by Saoirse Ronan was outstanding. That's the one that's going to stand out above the rest. And this was a really tough call in my fifth slot, but what I'm betting on is Saoirse Ronan and her ability to campaign, and I'm also betting on Sony Pictures Classics. So now the first thing I want to mention is that, yes, we already discussed it. Saoirse Ronan, every single one of her nominations, where she got nominated for Best Actress, for example, her movie also got nominated for Best Picture. So maybe they don't like Saoirse Ronan as much as they do. But the truth of the matter is she has been nominated 4 times. The Academy does still like her as an actress. And also, I'm betting on her campaigning. The Outrun was produced by her, co-produced by her husband, Jack Lowden, so I think there's a personal aspect to this movie in particular, and she's going to want to do press and meet parties and try to get nominated for this movie, because she knows that if she gets nominated, this movie will be more highly seen. She's also going to be campaigning for Blitz, which is a Steve McQueen movie, which I think is going to get nominated for Best Picture, which comes out in November. So in October this month, she's been campaigning for the Outrun. In November, she's going to be campaigning for Blitz. But, she has that top-of-mind awareness. Even though she's campaigning for Blitz and doing press for Blitz in November, she may get asked questions about the Outrun. She may go to Q&As because she's already there for Blitz and do another one for the Outrun. A Q&A post-screening specifically for the Academy. Going to parties, meeting people, doing Q&As, this stuff still matters in the modern day Oscars, particularly in terms of nominations. We just saw Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie. Some of this kind of groundswell of Academy members, of a small group of Academy members, can be influential. So she will be campaigning, she will be out there, and we know she is a 4-time Academy Award nominee and is well liked, and I think that will help her movie get seen. Also, the second thing I'm betting on is Sony Pictures Classics. Now, this is a distributor who is as big as, let's say, Focus Features or Searchlight, in which those distributors usually get 1 or 2 Oscar nominations every single year. But Sony Pictures Classics are experts at getting their movies a single acting nomination. If you look back in the past years, 22 was Bill Nighy in Living. 21, they had Parallel Mothers. Penelope Cruz get nominated for Parallel Mothers. 2020 was The Father. Anthony Hopkins got the win. 2019 was Pain and Glory with Pedro Almodovar. 2018 was Glenn Close with The Wife. So you hear these movies, The Wife, Living, Parallel Mothers. These are all movies with 1 to 2 nominations. It's usually the main actor, the father, the wife, whoever that plays, and then maybe a screenplay award, for example. These are Sony Pictures Classics movies, and they're experts at getting their movies seen and getting their actors nominated. So it may be a weird roundabout way of thinking about this, but really Sony Pictures Classics, who are distributing the Outrun, are great at getting 1 or 2 nominations for one of these smaller films that have a dynamite performance at the center. I think Saoirse Ronan could potentially get 2 nominations, 1 for Best Supporting Actress for Blitz and 1 for Best Lead Actress here for the Outrun. She could cancel it herself out. She could get one or the other. But right now I'm betting on Sony Pictures Classics, their ability to get kind of sole acting nominations for their actors, getting their movies seen, and I'm betting on Saoirse Ronan campaigning for a really kind of intense but very excellent and engrossing performance by her. Then some possible contenders. My first one is going to be Demi Moore for The Substance. This is an awesome movie and an awesome performance that I feel will be too weird for the Oscars. 3 years ago, we probably wouldn't even consider this as a nomination. But now, because the Academy's getting a little bit more international, a little bit more weirder with their past few picks, we're considering it. That being said, after seeing the movie, it really is very stylized. It's very gory. It's not just a movie about, sex or a taboo subject that the Academy maybe would have shied away from in the past, that they're more accepting nowadays. This is a body horror movie. This is super gory. This is intense. It's also being distributed by Mubi, and Mubi has been starting to get into the Oscar space the past couple of years, but they haven't done really a great job at targeting Academy event voters. They had Decision to Leave a couple of years ago. That was a major frontrunner to get nominated for Best International Feature. It didn't get nominated. They had Fallen Leaves last year, which was a major, movie that could get nominated for Best International Feature. It didn't get nominated. So Mubi's been a little bit disappointing at targeting Academy voters and getting their movies Oscar nominations. They have The Substance, so I'm a little bit concerned that they won't be able to campaign enough and put enough resources into someone like Demi Moore to get her nominated. So I'm worried about the content of the movie. I'm worried about the distributor. But I still have it as a possible contender because I do believe in Demi Moore. And the Oscars love comebacks. Matthew McConaughey, Brendan Fraser for The Whale. Demi Moore hasn't been in a mainstream movie in many years. Now she comes out with this very commanding lead performance, which is also this metatextual comment on her own stardom and how she's aging, and she was just so beautiful and still is so beautiful, but still kind of has some of those insecurities. There's direct parallels to her own career. We know that she's very passionate about this movie, and she's going to be willing to campaign and go out there and do Q&As. My concern ultimately is just that I think the movie will be too weird. I think people aren't going to see it just because, it's a gory movie, it's a horror movie, they're going to think, and then a lot of Academy members are going to say, well, I'm sure it's great, but I'm not really interested in those kinds of movies. And that's going to hurt Demi Moore. And then my final possible contender is Marianne Jean-Baptise for Hard Truths. This is a dynamite performance. It's a very commanding performance. I've been thinking a lot about it ever since I saw it back at TIFF. But as an Oscar prognosticator, I have to take my own opinions and put them to the side and look at the facts. And the facts are that Mike Leigh, the director of the movie, doesn't really get a lot of acting nominations. Gets a lot of screenplay, gets some directing nominations, but movies like Happy-Go-Lucky and Another Year and Mr. Turner and Topsy-Turvy, these are all great Mike Leigh movies with great performances, great central performances for all those movies. And he gets nominated for screenplay, and the actors don't get nominated. His movies pretty rarely, aside from something like Vera Drake, get nominated, or Secrets and Lies back in the 90s, get nominated for these acting categories. The movie is also being distributed by Bleecker Street here in the States. They are a smaller distributor. They don't have the same amount of money or campaign power as something like a Focus Features. So it's a movie that I don't think is going to get nominated for Best Picture. That's a little bit prickly in certain parts, and I don't think it will be well seen enough to have enough momentum of people going, oh, hey, let's kind of give her the nomination because she got nominated for Secrets and Lies, and isn't this cute? It's a great performance, yes, but it's a movie that I don't think will be well seen enough, and oftentimes we see that with some movies where if they're not well seen, unless they have a grassroots kind of support campaign like a To Leslie, they're not really in the conversation. I think, unfortunately, Hard Truths will be left behind, even though it's still a very commanding performance. But that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you comment below. Let me know your predictions for the Best Actress category and what you thought of this video. Stay tuned to next week where we're going to be breaking down the Best Actor category. That will be a lot of fun. But until next time, stay tuned.